The children of Sean Diddy Combs are speaking out for the first time since their father's arrest last week.
In the struggle together, son.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They called like Jay-Z Theo or something. Is he like your uncle kind of low-key?
Yeah, that's my uncle right there.
You got some powerful uncles.
Son Christian, aka King Combs, is now being sued, just like his father is. A woman filed a lawsuit against King, alleging that in late 2022, right before New Year's Eve, King assaulted her on
Watching it and just knowing that it's all coming to an end, 20 years of hit, it's just crazy.
No, I said it wasn't fun. It was like, that was traumatic.
Diddy's family is becoming more and more tense. His child has publicly expressed his belief that his father views him more as a resource than a person. Can you imagine living a luxurious life while incarcerated? There are rumors that much more is happening behind the scenes. We'll examine the potential effects of Diddy's massive empire on his son. Although it seems like a daddy dearest scenario, it takes an unexpected turn that may change your perception of the hip-hop musician.
Or somebody take his head off. Cause see, that's that new school bulls crap that these kids out here, they easy to fly off their mouth with that. You don't invite a man to your private. You don't invite a man to your private unless you doing the Diddy. If two men lay down, how many homos get up? Let me tell you, young man, 2 of them. You understand? So don't invite a man to your private, because that man will see you and take your head off. Especially somebody like 50. You don't send or let a boy do a man's job. I don't know if he need that type of attention or he want that type of attention. Evidently he do.
Have you ever thought about what it might be like to have everything and still feel empty? That was exactly what his son was going through. Imagine owning a home larger than many neighborhoods, a closet full of pricey clothes, and a sizable cash account. Isn't that perfect? But behind the scenes, it's not all private aircraft and red carpets. Diddy's children are often in the spotlight with him, and he has developed a massive corporation that spans everything from music to vodka. However, things might not be as good for the Combs family as they appear. Beneath the surface, there are traces of a feeling of imprisonment, as if one were in a luxurious prison. Similar to golden handcuffs, the glitz and glamour in this instance becomes so entangling that it appears difficult to escape. In the households of famous people, this struggle is real. It's like being imprisoned in a diamond-studded straitjacket.
Defendant, Christian Combs. Yo, it's shot o'clock. Plaintiff, Grace, no, I'm not doing shots. Christian. Defendant, Christian Combs. Everybody, we gotta take a shot. Audio 2. Plaintiff, I'll just put the ledge. That's Grace. Defendant, Christian, no. Take the whole thing. Plaintiff, no, you will take it as well. Christian, take the whole shot. Plaintiff, I'm only doing it as long as you take it as well. Christian, I ain't gonna lie, I'm not taking nothing. Please take the shot. You are drugging me? Says Christian, take the shot. Hey, yo, play another beat one time, because now it's interesting. Why not give the whole audio? It bugs me, but still enough in here is strange. But I don't know why it's cut, but apparently then cuts, and then we hear Cassie's Me and You featuring P. Diddy and Young Jock playing in the background as then this SA happens on the plaintiff. Cassie, this is not an offer. Christian, you said what? Plaintiff, I can't. I'm swapping out. I can't do it. I'm sorry, darling. Christian, no, we need you. Plaintiff, I'm gonna stop. I have to go. Honestly, I'm like already losing sleep. I have to go now. Now it's important just to remind everybody, she's been doing the 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. shift. This is at the end of her shift. She is there to take care of her A-list clients on this yacht. That's what the job is. The bosses, everybody need to apply, make sure that these A-list clients are doing well. Her client is Sean Combs, and now Sean Combs' son. And she's being pressured into this to say, to drink, to do all this stuff. She's trying to get out of the room. You're the best one on this ship, though, Christian says. What do you mean? She responds. Christian, who's going to replace you? Who's going to replace me? Defendant Christian, F that. That's going to be trash, though. You feel me? Plaintiff, excuse me, you don't touch my legs like that. I'll move my legs where I want to. Plaintiff, if I want to do this, then I will. You don't touch, sorry, Then I will. You don't touch my legs like that, says Grace. Christian, listen, you and everybody in the crew, it's great. Plaintiff, Grace, I can't. I have to go down. I have to go down. Christian, no. Yo, tell me, listen. Grace, what? Christian, like you're just vibing with me the whole time. Like, just say it. Plaintiff, I can't. I wish I could, but I can't, unless I say that you guys requested me. Defendant Christian, yes, who can I talk to right now? Who can I talk to? I'm going to say I requested you right now. Plaintiff, well, you can take your hand off my ass for the first thing. Now, again, I don't know if there's more audio, why it's selective. Maybe these are just the most important parts, and then it ends. But even so, these clips.
Take a look at other well-known kids who have faced comparable challenges. Remember when Willow Smith shaved her head? It wasn't just a fashion statement, it was her way of reclaiming her identity. Furthermore, who could ignore Lindsay Lohan's battles to resist her parents' influence? So what is really going on in the Combs estate? That is the important question. Rumor has it that Diddy's son is under a lot of expectations and pressure. It appears that Diddy's influence is so great that his child struggles to succeed on his own. Diddy's child then sent a mysterious statement on social media, saying that sometimes the price of genius is your soul. Nothing that I'm aware of isn't a cry for help. And this is only the beginning, I assure you. We will examine each of the many layers that make up this story.
50 is the wrong dude that you want to do that type of attention, get that kind of attention from, bro. And the infamous words of Waka Flocka, that nigga go hard in the paint. And I don't believe that this cat would even put out some trash like that and really didn't know what he was doing. He's teasing the federal government. And I told y'all, the Southern District of New York do not play. So King Kong just put another battery in their back. And you see after he did that shit, something get leaked to the press. Do you notice that, right? As soon as he did that dumb shit, talking about, well, we did this and we did that. We had this over here, y'all went to the wrong house. Some went to, he said, well, we're gonna show you how wrong we are. Yo, CNN, run this. Action, roll them. Don't play with the feds, bro. Cause you gotta realize this. They got a lot of time. All they got is time. Yo, they gonna sit there, people sitting up there and they want something. See, people like a fix. They need that fix real quick. They want them to hurry up and charge Diddy with something or see what they got on him. The feds gonna take their time. May take 6 months, may take a year, may take 2 years. They got up to 3 years to bring their case up. They got 3 years. So they checking everything about them. They're gonna dot all the I's and cross all the T's.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people feel like he played a part in that video coming up. You know, him making a comment saying that, you know, they forgot to raid the house next door that his dad owned. Yeah, man, he was wilding out, man.
Yeah, I think he was just bullshitting. I don't believe he bought the house next door. Because let me just tell you something. If anything or any name that had to do with Bad Boy, the federal government gonna run that. They know all the properties Diddy have. They wasn't even talking about the raid that they did in New York, but they did a raid in New York too.
As the temperature rises, let's take a closer look at this complex topic. The saying money cannot buy happiness may really be used to buying silence at Diddy's home. What if getting Diddy's hair costs a lot more than people realize? Those Instagram pictures of Diddy smiling with pride during heartfelt award speeches, glamorous red carpet events, and family vacations are just a few examples of how he regularly flaunts his status as a devoted parent. He seems determined to win Father of the Year every single day. Although Surafaka and Bad Boy Records are part of his firm, the reality seems to be quite different behind those expensive sunglasses and million-dollar smiles.
Clear as day, and that's not an automatic. That's not a given. Until we actually hear the audio, there are any number of ways to to potentially attack this dialogue that's been portrayed here and that has been alleged to have taken place. The audio might not be clear. There might not be a bulletproof way of identifying who is doing the speaking and exactly what they're saying and so forth. And it gets all back to the question of authentication, where if this is played in court or even before it's played in court, somebody's going to have to identify what was the source of this information, who made the recording, who has kept it between the time it was made and the time it's played in court. How do we authenticate and how do we prove that the person who's alleged to be speaking is actually the person who is speaking? All of these kinds of things all have to be hashed out in court. At the end of the day, though, the jury, presuming, I believe there's a jury demand in this case, it's going to be a jury who sits and says, hey, we believe that these are the actual people that are alleged to be on this recording. We believe that this did actually take place. It's not AI. It's not any other kind of, manipulation. And taken within the totality of all the circumstances and the totality of the evidence, we think it's more likely than not that this actually took place. And therefore, we're going to give a win to the plaintiff in this case, this woman who has brought the lawsuit. So it's not an automatic by any stretch of imagination, but if it can be authenticated,
assume it gets through that vetting. If this is real audio, not a good look for Christian in eyes.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If it passes the sniff test, then it's potentially very, very problematic. You're absolutely right.
And the rest of this case, we don't have as much evidence. It's going to be a he said, she said. But this type of damning audio, as Kim, you've said it before, in a civil case, right? It's only 51% need to agree. And I would imagine, Kim, your thoughts in reading this transcript now, because we've only seen sort of snippets through NBC, but in reading this transcript now, this has come back from if it's real, right?
Yes, I would agree. I mean, if the question is, was she touched without her consent? And, did she voice that she did not want to be touched in that manner? If this audio is authenticated, it's pretty clear that no, she did not want this interaction. This is SA, period.
Being a celebrity kid may be challenging, especially if your father is Diddy. It's more than just preserving the family name. The objective is to try to stand out. Imagine what it would be like to live beneath a shadow as big as King Kong's and try to make your imprint. Parents who see their children as mirror copies of themselves are engaging in what some experts call narcissistic parenting. According to Dr. Sherry Blake, a psychiatrist who works with celebrity families, this stress only gets worse in the spotlight. According to recent allegations, Diddy and his child got into a heated altercation. It seems that Diddy disapproved of his son's ambition to work for a firm other than the family business. There were reportedly heated arguments and threats to halt financing. It's a classic my way or the highway, but when the route is lined with gold, it's hard to get out.
I ain't hear about that raid. I only heard about the LA and Miami raid. But you feel like the feds, they released that video over King Kong's comments.
Oh man, I've worked in law enforcement for 27 years, and I had the opportunity to see HIDA. It's a place, whereas they have the state, the feds, the NYPD, the Department of Corrections, and the state police. Yo, this place could be half of a basketball court. That's where they just got lines of computers with officers of all different people and officers just on the internet. Whoever's over that case, whoever's working that case, don't you know they saw that and took it to their boss? You might think it's petty, but it's not. You do not agitate a lion with a pork chop. And that's what that kid did, bro.
Some people feel like, Diddy, he played a part in that video coming out too. Him being spotted with Stevie J, smiling at the camera. A lot of people blame him too.
But bro, what did I tell you? He's such a narcissist that he has to be in the public. Yo, listen to me. They just caught him on TMZ today or yesterday or something like that walking out and about. Now, I'm not telling the man what to do, what he couldn't do. I don't know if the government told he couldn't travel nowhere, he couldn't be nowhere and stuff like that. But why are you gonna go outside your own compound where you know TMZ and every other place is waiting on you? You're not gonna get any public sympathy. That's why he had that picture of him and his father around his neck. You're not gonna get no sympathy. You're done. Stick a fork in it. Call it a quit. Apologize to Big's mother for putting her son in that position that he loses his life. It's crazy. He better do a Russell Simmons.
Yeah, a lot of people saying that, man. They saying that he gonna pull a Russell Simmons.
Well, anything's possible, bro, but I don't know if the feds will allow him since they got an open investigation on him.
Having to choose between your father's business and your own goals is just the start of what happens when the advantages of opulence are coupled with anxiety, sadness, and an unending highlights here. There are hints of a more serious conflict. Having a lot of money is supposed to make life simple, but for these well-known teenagers, particularly in the hip-hop business, it frequently feels like they are living in a gilded cage with paper flashes serving as the bars. They may have bank accounts and fancy clothing that most others can only imagine, but at what price? While the entire world watches in judgment, waiting for them to make a mistake, these children are attempting to discover who they are. It's similar to being stuck in a reality show they didn't sign up for. There is a lot of pressure on the kids of hip-hop moguls. Like Diddy, they have to surpass their iconic parents in addition to succeeding. Imagine attempting to escape such a huge shadow. It's about transcending a complete legacy, as well as upholding the family name.
Holmes' 7 children writing on Instagram, "We have seen so many hurtful and false rumors circulating about our parents, Kim Porter and Sean Combs' relationship, as well as about our mom's tragic passing, that we feel the need to speak out. Claims that our mom wrote a book are simply untrue. She did not, and anyone claiming to have a manuscript is misrepresenting themselves. A 60-page unverified book published earlier this month claimed to be the collection of diaries of Porter, who died at the age of 47 in 2018. The children, who don't mention their father's arrest in the statement, go on to write, "Our mother should be remembered for the beautiful, strong, kind, and loving woman she was. Her memory should not be tainted by horrific conspiracy theories." The message coming as another accuser goes public with allegations against Combs. Talia Graves claims in a civil lawsuit Combs and his bodyguard drugged, bound, and raped her in 2001 and filmed it.
It's a pain that reaches into your very core of who you are, and leaving emotional scars that may never fully heal.
The 54-year-old Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges he led a criminal conspiracy that...
The information paints a concerning picture. Celebrities are twice as prone as their on-screen counterparts to experience anxiety, sadness, and drug addiction, per a study published in the Asterisk Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry. What impact is all of this having on Diddy's son? The hose designer, Shades, is reportedly dealing with some major issues. Sources claim that his sadness is striking harder than Diddy's famous eats from the 9s, and that his anxiety may sometimes be so severe that it feels like he's having difficulties breathing. But it gets worse than that. Rumor has it that Diddy has been secretly pursuing treatment, and that rehab may be a possibility. Smoke often suggests a massive fire burning beneath the surface, but we cannot determine the actual source.
He joins me now with more on this. Aaron, how significant is it to have a new accuser making claims like this on camera as Diddy's facing these criminal charges?
Well, look, she is detailing in an anguished appearance with her attorney, Gloria Allred, what she said happened to her in 2001 and the lasting impact that she said it had on her, and coming after Sean Combs' arrest on criminal charges perhaps lends some additional credibility, because he's already been charged in a racketeering conspiracy that sought out women for abuse.
She's also filed a civil suit. Could that affect the criminal case at all?
The civil suit is at least the 12th filed against Sean Diddy Combs, and the first one from last November by Cassie Ventura is really what touched off the criminal case that led to Diddy's arrest and subsequent not guilty plea on the 3 criminal counts. Without the civil suit, there are probably not criminal charges against Sean Combs, but all the civil cases are now likely to be paused while the criminal case takes priority.
Now, some of Combs' children issued this statement on Instagram, speaking out in defense of their mother, but they didn't really mention their father. What do you make of that?
It was an interesting statement coming a little more than a week after Combs's arrest here in New York. And the children seemed quite protective of Kim Porter's legacy because there's this 60-page unverified manuscript online that claims to be Kim Porter's diary entries or a compilation of some of her thoughts. And the children said that it just isn't true. And they didn't want her and her memory commingled with him and the criminal case that he's now facing.
And what's next in that case now?
He's back in court in early October. For now, he is being housed in protective custody at a federal jail in Brooklyn. He's in a dormitory-style open housing cell with...
You might be surprised by the response if the smoke were a sign that certain bridges were going to burn. What would encourage the young member of the hip-hop elite to seek help? When it seems like your life is being scripted, Diddy's child is ready to do something that might completely upend the company. In order to break free from the golden trappings of celebrity, we may need to have a breakdown. How do you start writing your own narrative? That's the challenging query. Diddy's son is having difficulties and seems to be trapped in a music video that he never gave his permission for. He is desperately trying to find a way out, but it is difficult to break away in a family as strong as the Communications clan. Rumor has it that Diddy's kid is attempting to quit the firm he has been meeting with attorneys in private, speaking quietly with business executives, and even thinking about doing it alone. You can bet, though, that Diddy will not allow his heir to leave the empire without a battle.
And it's really sad that, the whole situation of this, as you read through the entire lawsuit and you kind of see the environment that she was placed in and how she was set up in this place where she was probably terrified to say anything. At the end of it all, based on the lawsuit, she did lose her job. It impacted her personal life, her relationship, her family life, everything. She lost so much because of this incident, if all of this is to do. So I really hope that if this all is true, that the audio can be authenticated, because I think it's going to be crucial in her case.
And just for full, where you go visit, audio was recorded by Jones, allegedly. NBC News has heard 2 clips of audio transcribed in the suit, purportedly from the night, but has not verified who was recorded. Which is important, as John said. Again, we need to vet this. We don't need to go through that sort of legitimizing it. But there allegedly is audio that's claiming to be this. And it's interesting there, as I go back and read that, only 2. They only heard 2, and there are... I guess it is 2.
There are the 2.
It's 1 and then the longer one. Okay, got it. So there's only the 2. So they've heard it. This audio apparently exists. I would, Mr. Blackburn, share it more. What's going on? If you're giving it to one press outlet, give it to other press outlets, because if this is real, we need to get the word out. If it's not, why are you sharing it? Or, if it's private, why are you sharing it with certain outlets? I hope they do, so we can definitively figure out, is this real or not? Because I think it's important information to know. So Diddy's lawyer slammed this lawsuit against son, expected the same kind of manufactured lies. Youngest son Christian slams, the lawyers behind slammed it. Again, they're going after Tyrone Blackburn. And I want to connect that because the last suit was kind of sloppy at times. Is that going to affect this? Do you think this one plays better because it's got the transcript and board? Or is there a version of this where this could be a shakedown by this Blackburn attorney who has had previous grievances? Does any of that come into play for you, John?
Well, I'm assuming that he's gotten a little bit sharper and a little bit smarter since he filed the case in New York, the Little Rod case. I mean, that was a little unusual. All of a sudden, he's had to go back several times and file a First Amendment complaint, then file a First Amendment complaint. First amended complaint, then a second amended complaint, which somewhere along the line there was one or more procedural problems where you typically have to ask the court for leave or permission to file an amended complaint. Apparently that was not done in the way that the court expected it to be done. Courts have their federal rules of civil procedure, and then there are usually some local rules as well. Somehow he managed to run afoul of those rules in terms of asking the court to file an amended complaint and so forth. And the reason he was filing amended complaints, I mean, for instance, the first I think it was First Amendment complaint, had 72 pages, did not mention Cuba Gooding Jr., as I recall. Second amended complaint that he tried to file was up close to 100 pages, 90 or 100 pages, and all of a sudden it did include Cuba Gooding Jr. And you got to ask yourself, well, you know, how did Cuba Gooding Jr. get left out of the original complaint and the First Amendment complaint? Or, you know, how did someone that important to the case not get included the first time you went through the exercise? It just is a little bit of a question that, you know, there might be, for all I know, there might be a perfectly legitimate reason, but at the same time, it's a little bit odd.
Yeah, speaking of odd and speaking of Cuba Gooding Jr., again, like here's that portion I found of, according to plaintiff, defendant Combs chartered a yacht, witnessed several A-listers on board, including rappers Redacted, as well as Redacted and Cuba Gooding Jr. And then they go on to talk about how unpleasant he was. And then if you go down to the little footnotes, they're like giving little clues and Easter eggs as to who the redacted people are. A Philadelphia rapper, anyway, it's all very strange to me. So there is still a little bit of a messiness to this lawsuit, you would say, it seems.
Rebelling against your parents is tough enough, but it's a very other story when your dad has more connections than the Mariana Trench. Before you can say bad boy for life, we're talking about litigation, getting cut off, and the Diddy of being blacklisted in the profession.
From that weekend where I'm on the baseball field, walking, and Puffin them is like in front of me right there. I got that picture still. It was a Polaroid. I still got that picture. So you know how people gonna make up stuff, they're gonna cut, paste, post, and all this other stuff for views, and then try to make it seem like it's something when it's not.
Yeah, they trying to make it seem like it's something that's not. But how you feel about Diddy lawyer? He trying to get him transferred to a jail in New Jersey to get better access to him?
It's not up to Diddy lawyer. It's up to the prison system. The judge even told him, the judge cannot tell the Department of Corrections, the prison department, how to run a prison. Now, he was supposed to get him in some kind of medical facility because of the, you know, he think that his life is in danger. Yeah, every prisoner life is in danger. So they trying to get some special treatment for him. But that's up to the prison system based on his evaluation from his psych evaluation. And they looking at the fact that Epstein, who may have some dealings with Diddy, he died in that place. So they may have a good case, but it's still up to the prison system to decide where he go. And the lawyer, and they don't care how much money you got, but it's based on the lawyer. So that's why if you ever you seen online recently, people coming out, they getting ex-COs or wardens or detectives to speak out and say how dangerous Brooklyn MDC is. That's they lawyers them paying people to come out and talk about that, so to try to help persuade the courts, which is the part of the prison system, to see what they're gonna do, would they do anything to say, yo, listen here, man, this guy's life might be danger over here because people think that he has something to do with Pac, people think he has something to do with Biggie, and they right here in Brooklyn. You understand? It's right here in Brooklyn, and some of the people are still mad that he made.
It's similar to David vs. Goliath, but Goliath has a platinum album and a vodka empire.